that. What we did with the first time around was just to find out, what are your questions about the book or anything related to it, and go from there. So that seemed to be a good way to work last time, if it's comfortable for you. For those of you that I've seen before and worked with before, glad to see you again. For those who are new, thank you for inviting me.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Like in your second book, I really thought that there was a Joy Luck restaurant. Okay, is there a railroad street?
Is there a real
railroad street?
Prototypes somewhere, yeah, but not per se. There are streets called Railroad Street in different parts of the country, different, little railroad towns and stuff like that. Or out here, I don't think we had a real one. I'd have to go back and really look at my notes. I don't remember a real one that was a prototype here. I was probably basing it more on places I've been and seeing it, oh, that's neat. Just as a space. There's one in Whiting that I sometimes take when I just want to go out in the country and I can't go out in the country. I'll go to the post office over there and I'll go take Ohio Street, and sometimes when I come back I'll go all the way past the casino. There's a way you can go up Lake Street and then past the casino, and that is the Railroad Street kind of entity. It's like 2 or 3 blocks with the tracks right there and the station right there and industry right there and residents right there. It's everything. In fact, again, that's kind of what I've seen in a lot of places in the country where we've driven through small towns like that.
Well, let her know, because she's got me driving all over the country.
I had to stop doing that somewhere along in the book because Indianapolis does not run east and west. I knew that, but then I'm thinking that the restaurant. What was the big one on Indianapolis Boulevard that's closed now?
Candy's or no, Vogel's.
I was Vogel's. No, come on Indianapolis Boulevard. I was back by us, back on the east side more.
On 106?
Rupsich's?
No,
it was the one we had the dinner
name. Not Phil Smith.
Where we had the dinner dance.
You had what?
Did we have a dinner dance?
Oh, yeah, that was.
It's been a number of places.
Yeah,
it's still there. The building's still there.
Yeah,
the building is still there.
Sabroso and Delicioso or something. Yeah, but
that's where I kept thinking
Mr.
that way
D's.
because it was close.
Mr. D's.
Mr. D's was the Via
I'm thinking
Cosenza.
because the 108th, getting off at 108th, I almost wanted to get on, and then come back off so I could see where this was happening. I thought, I got to stop it. I mean, just like I couldn't figure out where they.
There was a Chinese restaurant on Indianapolis at one time, but I don't remember it being anything like your description.
I'm not aware of any real one that was like that.
There was at one time. It's now called, I think, Sam's Liquor and Cigarette.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I remember it because
I think we were in that a couple of times.
Yeah.
When it was a restaurant.
On a holiday, that was the only place that was open.
Well, that place where they shut out the tire from that driver, that was, you said it was 108th, and when I go there 108th, I'm trying to figure out
where.
Well, I can see
this is where that happened.
Yeah, this is where that happened, but it's there's nothing there.
It's not physically laid out the way I described it in the book, because I've got a big circle when he comes out.
Right.
But you don't get, there was, when we came off before, the old way when you were coming out, there was more of the circle.
Yeah, right.
But that wouldn't have been it.
Oh.
That was pure fantasy. That was pure,
that was it's all bright.
just created, that was just
mislead
created.
everybody.
108th, yeah. The physical layout, no.
Oh.
The lumberyard isn't there either.
Your office was at Washington Elementary School?
My office. Oh, in the college?
Yeah.
No, it was a combination of Triton College and DePaul University.
Oh, because Washington Elementary has those slit windows.
Really? No, DePaul had one that they called Mussolini Modern when they built one on the campus after I graduated. It was a major hall there that I think they've since torn down and done something else with. But that was the slits itself, and then the rest of it was Triton College. The general idea was Triton College, but the physical exterior of the building was the DePaul part with the archer slits in it. Yeah.
When the drugs were stolen, I don't remember, was it arsenic?
Arsenic, I think arsenic was one of them, and the other was, what was that he used to
Chloral something.
Right.
Chlorohydrate.
But one of the arsenic, when they stole the arsenic, and then the lady goes into the restaurant and she orders like almond duck or something. I said, I've been watching too much Murder, She Wrote.
You knew what was going to happen.
Because I knew she was going to get it because it smells like almonds.
Yeah.
The arsenic smells like, and sure, and I said, oh no, but I thought, if that young girl dies, I'm not reading the rest of the book. I read about it.
She came close.
Yeah.
Actually, you thought she did die until they told you differently.
Yeah.
Well, and he almost knocked off his wife, too, I mean.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was
You
the
came pretty
surprising
close.
part,
Yeah.
that his wife was going to be the last one,
Yeah.
supposedly. Oh, she's still reading.
I couldn't figure out why you had put all that stuff about the race going on, the bike race, that was not till the end. I said, oh, okay, now I got it. Why did he put this in here?
Yeah, just lay in the groundwork.
Yeah.
The one thing I liked about reading the second one first was that, you know, the waitress and at the Joy Luck restaurant and her, the bartender, or the code or whatever.
Yeah,
I can't
Louis.
remember, that they end up getting married, and I already know that.
Oh, you're talking about at the Chinese restaurant. I thought you were talking about.
Chinese restaurant,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the other. Actually, I think I was confusing that. I don't know which book I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm lost. This stuff. Yeah, this one.
That was the second book. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confusing my book stuff. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that was kind of fun.
I like that.
I thought I might be going in that direction with this one, but I wasn't sure. And then when I got the chance to go ahead, then I was able to do it. That was fun. It seemed like it just seemed like it ought to happen that way.
Yeah.
And I read this a second time, and it hangs together. You know, the plot, trying to find out who did it,
Right.
who's the bad guy. And all the way through, it takes about 2/3 of it. Then you know who it is. Or you got a good guess that it is. But the suspense is there. Well done.
Oh, yes, there is the suspense.
Well, it's good to hear, because having done it, I can't really tell that that's how it's going to hit anybody else. I just don't. So as I've said before, that knowing that is very useful to me, because it's kind of writing in the dark and hoping that it works. And then when you hear from people who've actually read and said it worked, you think, oh my gosh, it did.
That's
Okay.
good. Yeah, because it was actually a twist on who really did it. When they thought, you know, the one kid.
Yeah.
I think he's a student. That's what threw me.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of students, right? Some of them would qualify.
When you write a book, we were at the Lit Fest and an author was talking about, they worry about words of the time. Do you worry about words that, you know, say you write a book from the 1950s, do you worry about not using words from like because there are certain words like, he mentioned one like when you used to say thank you and you're welcome, now you go thank you, not a problem. And, do you worry about words like that would change the...
Yeah, I think I did somewhat, because these are set sort of sometime in the late 80s, early 90s, in that era, and I'm trying to remember technology for one thing.
Your books have been mainly, well, the two on murders. So do you take your ideas from historical murders, or just...
I don't think so. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, or do you just, make them up as you go along, they come to you, or?
Yeah, I think I'm probably influenced by everything I've experienced in our culture, the movies I've seen, the stories I've read, the news, the news headlines and stuff like that. I don't think I had any particular events in mind, rather types of people and situations that I wanted to deal with. Often I'm trying to deal with values too. I think that values are important in our society. I think values are getting trashed a lot, so I try to inject values in the stories that I'm writing too, about how people deal with each other and how they feel about the dealings and stuff like that. And I think that's important. I also mentioned there are education scenes in here, there are school scenes in here that I think are important, because as a teacher and as a teacher of teachers, I have felt that more needs to be shown about how things can happen in the classroom. I think it took a lot of cutting and pasting and toying with ideas and trying different ways of getting it to happen before they finally come out. But
I thought we'd find out that Ellen maybe got a grant or something. I was sort of worried about her and her family. Hopefully she got to get through school. And,
I think it's a safe assumption based on the way the thing was going. Even though it isn't punctuated at the end, I think she was on a good track at that point, which she hadn't had up until that point.
Yeah. And I noticed the names you used. One of them is with us.
Right.
Frank Stanley.
What does
And
it say in the
Jean.
book?
Yeah.
I gotta get my reading glasses too, probably.
That lady made a hero of me.
Our Monday group, I had to ask them, are you the Frank Stanley in the book?
Says the characters and events in this book are fictitious. Any similarity to real person is coincidental and not intended by the author.
Yeah.
Pure coincidence, right, Frank?
Of course, she could have been a cop, too. She said, are you Frank Stanley? I said, I was when I came here. What of the book?
Depends on the reason you're asking, right?
He did that before. One other book he put me in there.
Both of these. Both of them. The same name, yeah. Frank and Ian. What a coincidence.
Really coincidental.
Yeah.
But it was, what I liked about the tightness of the story, but there was always relief. One of them would say, let's get some coffee. Let's go to my house to eat. You know, there was a diversion whenever you needed it. You know, it went from a very serious moment, the police chief and these guys are discussing the murders. And then all of a sudden one of them would say, let's go get a coffee. You know, good. Good stuff.
I liked the long-term relationship between Shay and Rice.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch, too.
They were truly friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, how long did it take you to write the book?
This one I started, my earliest note that I can find relating to this is about 1978.
Wow.
And it was published in 2000.
Oh, work. What about these people who say, like, all these movie stars, everybody seems to be writing a book, all these young kids that come up with a book here and a book there. I mean, they make it seem like
in a short
so
time.
easy. Yeah, just in a short time.
Well, most of them have writers doing it for them.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, however it gets
Just
done, somebody's doing the writing.
doing it.
Somebody.
Oh,
It
somebody's
isn't
doing it.
them.
And then they just put their name,
I don't know. I really don't know, because they may well be able to do stuff too. I can't say. For me, writing takes a long time. The books take a long time. But to create this takes time for me. And maybe just I'm not very efficient at doing it. I know there are authors who turn out. Zane Grey, I was amazed. Zane Grey turned out scores of books, if not hundreds.
Yeah, that's what I
And
mean.
thought,
People like,
oh, and I loved his books. You know, I thought, man, some of them, I could see how he did it. In some cases, he had one about roping lions in the Grand Canyon, and one was the real thing. He went out there and he did it with the guys, and that was it. And another was a kid's book, a boy's book in those days. Didn't write for girls in those days, you know, or at least they didn't write for both genders in a book. You could have the girls' books, but those were the other things. And he wrote one that was parallel to that. It had the same adventure, same experience, and many of the same types of characters, and not the same characters, for the boy hero, the boy protagonist. I loved them both. I had the books side by side, but he was cranking out a lot of stuff. I don't know how he did it.
Well, I think he wrote at the time when they had the cowboy movies, and they were short. They weren't long like they are now.
Many were short.
Yeah, and whoever wrote those cowboy movies, it was basically the same thing over and over, but it was different setting, you know, different girl and stuff like that. It was the same old movie.
But he may have done similar things, but they were powerful when he did them. We just saw a Zane Grey movie recently, and it was 50-some minutes, and it was 50-some minutes of very well-written stuff compared to 4 others we saw that were 50 minutes of you can't believe how ridiculous it is. You know, I mean, so his stories were really very good. I've read 2 of his books, other than the Roping Lions and the kid's story, the Riders of the Purple Sage and the sequel to it, which was the Rainbow Trail, and those were huge books. And incredibly really involving and well written. So the guy was turning out some really powerful stuff and doing it in fairly short order, I would think. And so all I can say is, I don't know how he did it, but I know I'm not doing it that way.
And I've also read too that a lot of these authors have help, other writers working with them.
Well, Clancy did that, but I think Clancy's first books were Clancy. And again, Clancy's an author I love too.
Yeah.
But he's now an industry.
Right.
He now has writers who are writing the Tom Clancy books. And he makes no bones about it. He makes no secrets about it. I say, okay, he's certainly doing it that way now. But initially, the books were definitely, I think, Clancy and purely Clancy. Or if he had some technical advisor, he would acknowledge who the technical advisors were. But he was doing it
Not all
right.
of them did that.
No.
Not all of them, he might have been doing that.
So some of them do turn stuff out at an amazing time.
The big
I don't have that secret. I don't.
Well, your characters are very familiar and they seem very well developed. My question is, because it takes so long for you to write it, is partly just you don't have the discipline to sit down, the self-discipline to sit down and stick with it? And the reason I'm asking is, my husband and I are writing a series of talks for the last 4 years. And now we have a deadline that we have to do them. And to me, once you sit down, you just keep on going and you get a lot accomplished. But I guess you're the wrong person to ask because it's taken you a long time and we've got 6 months to finish it. Because they're so familiar, the characters are so familiar and so well developed, don't you find it that when you get away from it and come back and go away, are you constantly thinking of them while you're away? Or thinking of, ideas in your head and you just don't put them down? Or how do you keep them so, I mean, like you said, you love your characters, you know them. But in 10 years, is it because, I mean, I know you had other things to do, but is it a matter of like, well, I'll write tomorrow, or?
That's sometimes wishful thinking. It's like the book I'm supposedly working on now, is difficult because I'm not sure what the book is yet. I think once I know what the book is, then it's much easier to get going with it. Right now I'm scratching around doing research, trying to find out what are the issues here that I can really make credible for these characters. Are they really ones that will move me? And if they are, then I can begin to go with it. But I'm still digging for the gold right now. I'm not even sure this mountain has gold in it. But I'm scratching away at the surface of it, and I'm beginning to expand my research. That's a slow process because I do have commitments elsewhere. Deadlines, you're right. Deadlines are beautiful because I've never missed a deadline. I worked for the newspaper for 15 years. I never missed a deadline. Never, and under some very difficult conditions. And so the deadlines really do drive you. So I think having deadlines will work for you, and that's probably good. Now, are you doing fiction? Are you inventing characters? Or are you doing instructional material?
Instructional, but it's kind of like a personal type of reflection, and it's like based on childhood, and it's a marriage peer ministry is what it is, and so we have to actually, address issues in our childhood and as we grow up and stuff like that, and my husband and I both comment, and some of the stuff is just instructional, it's just they give it to you, but big chunks of it are art, and then they have to be workshopped, they have to be, approved and that. So, and like I said, we have to present at an international level, and so it has to be moving to us, so that we can move other people. Mm-hmm. So that's the tricky part, and that's probably when you said that, that's probably what the holdup is. If you can't get the information written the way you want it to be written, then we procrastinate with it.
I have one suggestion to make with respect to the way you're describing. If you already have the material within your own life experience of that, you've got something going for you. You don't have to, it's not so much what is out there, you already have some of the what's there. So I'd say write it, get it out there, don't edit, don't self-judge or anything. Write as much as you can. Mm-hmm. Editing is then what comes in. Once you get it out there, you can edit. You don't have anything to work with until it's out there. But once you have it, you can edit. And once you can edit, you can shape that baby the way you want it. But you've got to get it out first. So do it, write it, talk it out, write it out, get it out, and edit the living daylights out. Your editing will be what really makes it good.
And if it makes you cry, write it.
Yeah, well, that's my husband. He's not really emotional type, but it's an emotional thing. So, but that's very good advice because try to edit it. There is a format to the writing. You have to have like feeling words and things like that to describe certain things. So it's not something, but you can just go ahead and write. And that's what they encourage you to do, and then shape it later. So, yeah, that's probably good. That's good advice, because that's the stopping. That's what's blocked.
Once it's out there,
try to fix things right away. And
yeah, you can't shape an unknown. But once you have it on paper, it's enough. Then you can trim it the way you want it. So get it on paper, And then you can really do, it's like clay, you can do all sorts of stuff with it once it's up there. Until it's there, it's just a big mystery that's frustrating. And a big deadline that has to be met.
How come your books aren't at Borders?
They are, but you have to know how to get them. They're not on the shelves.
Yeah, I called Borders to try to get out of order, and we ended up with Amazon.
You can do it through Amazon, you can do it through Barnes & Noble, you can do it through Borders, but you have to tell them to use the Ingram catalog. If you go back to the reference section or whatever, wherever they have, what is the section called where we get our questions answered? Is that the question answering section?
Probably information.
Information, thank you.
The writer.
Well, I called the Borders on 95th, and I don't know, I went down looking for them, and they said, no, we don't have Kevin Dewar here.
Yeah, they'd have to look at the Ingram catalog.
Okay.
So half of them don't know there is an Ingram catalog. But there is. Ingram is the source through which they come.
Okay.
It's easier to go just through BookLocker. If you're going to order off the internet, BookLocker is the easiest one.
You may have covered this, Kevin, but when you start, you think in terms of modern movies, TV, you know.
Usually I think of one of the cliches in movies that I really hate. Bullet was one of them. The high-speed chases all the time. You know, if you look at movies today, you know, they're running rocket ships through the walls, through buildings, up and down the streets, in through garbage cans, wherever. And you think, I'm sorry, I don't believe it works that way to begin with, and it's just really, and there's no, it's just slam, bang, boom stuff, and I hate that. So that drove this one. I really wanted to get rid of that kind of thing, so I was always moving toward a different kind of ending with this.
Yeah.
The story, of course, had something to do with it too, but I
wanted to make a good movie too.
I don't know. I don't know. I've written movie scripts, but I haven't turned this into a movie script. I wouldn't even want to try. But what they do with movies is frightening sometimes. What they do with books is frightening. Movies, I don't know that I want to. Nobody's offered. I'm not really being harassed by anybody in Hollywood right now saying we want to take your books and do things. But Bollywood I might listen to, but Hollywood I don't.
Kevin is a font of knowledge. You know, you could call him up, talk about World War I, World War II, the strike in Hammond, whatever it is, he's up on the subject. I don't know how you
give me too much credit, right? But most of what I know is because of the people I hang out with. My friends.
Joanne, you mean?
No, I was thinking of you.
A history teacher.
I was looking at you, Frank. Frank always talks about Kevin the author. Frank's an author too. I said, you are an author too.
What did you say?
That you're an author too.
Oh, an author.
Author.
Yeah. Well,
What did you write?
the truth is, he's helping.
No, Frank, it's an interesting story. Frank's father came to this country from England just before World War I. And shortly after he arrived, turned around and went to fight the Germans for as an American, fought in the American Army. Got wounded seriously and decorated and all that kind of stuff. And someone got him to write his journal of experiences. That he had a journal, I guess, and they asked him to really polish it up and make something out of it. And Frank showed that to me, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, where he posted that, and it was impressive what his dad had written. And turns out his son had been in Vietnam and had written a fairly comprehensive account of that in letters that he had written home to his mom. She kept them in there, and then when he came home, he put them into a book form. So he had that written. And the first president of the East Side Historical Society, who was very busy running around and getting people to tell their stories and do things like that, had not yet told about his PT boat experiences in World War II. Hadn't written a word about it that I know of. And so finally, somebody prevailed upon him after a number of years to write that up to him. And guess what you have? You have a family history of the 20th century, major wars, World War I, World War II, and Vietnam. And Frank was a major part of that book. He wrote it. And his son Rob, and of course his late father.
Yeah. But there's been so much written about this generation and 3 wars, you know. It's overdone. To me, and I was in the war, it's boring.
It depends on how you do it, Frank. Your dad's story was very personal and very interesting. Rob's was, and yours. They were very individual, independent stories. It wasn't, you know, were you out there being John Wayne at a moment and winning the war single-handedly? I don't remember reading that in any of the 3 accounts. But it was how it struck you, what you made of it, you know, how it impacted, and what you thought about what was going on around you. Those are the things that have been going on. And that was the three good.
But it's been said so many times.
Not as you've said it.
Your touch to it now keeps it alive. Appreciate that.
These things have all been said many times too, but each author puts his stamp on it if he's, you know, if possible. And so what you have done is made the stories unique. So, authorship, you know, everybody here around the table is a potential author. What it takes is you start writing. You have an idea, you have something you want to share, and you begin to write. That's where it starts.
You mean everybody's got a book in their head?
Probably many. Think of the stories you tell when you're at family gatherings, the things that you remember, that you're excited about, the things that you share with friends on the phone. Those are things on which movies are based, on which stories, good books are based. The difference is somebody writes them down or somebody just tells them. So the stories are here. You're not just enjoying books, you're potential authors as well. The difference is when you start.
Well, when talking about the family histories and that, about 35 years ago, I think it was, Columbia College came to South Chicago, and they interviewed a lot of people. And at that time, my family was having family reunions here at Eggers Woods, and they came out and taped it. And since all my sisters had married basically fellows from different areas, and so they interviewed everyone, the fellas, you know, and they all gave a little history of their families when they came here and, you know, how things went. And they told us, they gave us a copy of the VCR, and then they told us they were going to put it at Chicago Historical Society downtown. If we ever want to see it, go down and we could get it out and watch it down there. And we thought that was really interesting.
And the family name was?
What?
Family name is?
My father's name would be Bauman, and that was the Bauman reunion. My parents had passed on by then, but.
I wonder what actually happened with the videos. It was interesting, the story that you're talking about is very close to us because the Historical Society got lucky, oh, I don't know, 15 years ago probably. Frank called me one Saturday, I think it was a Saturday or Sunday, and says, I've got a garbage truck from the Park District, and we've got the stuff from Columbia College. If we can go get it today, we've got it. If not, they're throwing it out.
No kidding.
They've been taking the whole project, and Jim Martin, who was in charge of the thing, I guess had left the area, was going to Florida or something, and it was like they weren't doing that project anymore, and it was like, we don't have the space for it, it's going.
You took it.
We took it. We took the garbage truck down, and we loaded that baby up and got everything that we could out of there.
In the rain.
Well, I don't think it rained much, Frank, because there wasn't, I think it was threatening, because we got the stuff dried to the museum, as I recall. And it's there now, but I don't know if there were videos with it. We brought a lot of stuff, but I don't know if those videos would be among them. It'd be great if they were. Do you know, John?
Well, I'm 2 thoughts back, because as you're talking about that, Faye's family was also interviewed. So, and there may be more people here whose families were interviewed. And all of that's at the Historical Society in Calvert.
Yeah, it was a good guy. Yeah, well, he always said that, what was his name, Jim, right? That he took off with all that material.
Jim Martin, yeah.
Right.
Well, for years we didn't know. We'd heard it was in a bank basement. We'd call the bank. We don't know what you're talking about. We'd hear it was in a warehouse. We couldn't find the warehouse. The rumors abounded. And so we kind of gave up, and then Frank got the word somehow. I don't know how you did find out. But I got the call from Frank, and we went. That was it.
I think we got everything.
Yeah, but how did you find out about it? Because it was like a ridiculous time.
Spy.
Okay. I'll say no more, because then we'd have to shoot something. Okay.
At least it wasn't thrown away. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I remember I gave them a lot of pictures too from my grandparents and everything. I got them all back, but they said they made copies of what they were interested in.
And
I thought it would all be sitting down there at the Chicago Historical.
Well, it's even closer. It's at the museum in Cabinet Park, where the old library was.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was in there and I looked through some stuff. There's a telephone directory where my grandfather has his phone number, things like that, but I have allergies.
Oh.
And, you know, everything in there. In fact, I was going to work there, and I went in and I said, oh no, I can't do this. My allergies just flared up, you know, because everything is musty. And,
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff from my grandfather, they have there, you know, from, he came and to build what was U.S. Steel, and then he worked there, so he's here a long time ago. And a lot of that is history from the area, you know.
Well, I don't have a question, but I enjoyed reading it. I really like, you know, the characters or.
But in comparison, which one did you like better?
What did I?
The two books.
Which book did you like better? Out of order or this one?
Well, I think I like this one because it was the beginning, you know. And
I like that out of order.
I wondered, Shay, do you see yourself as Shay or?
No.
No.
No, but I see him drawing on my experiences.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
As a teacher,
Yeah.
he functions the way I taught. And I've
Yeah,
had some military investigative experience and things like that, but it's purely coincidental. Shay's experiences I've not had. You know, I've just had my experiences, and I've imagined Shay's experiences. I'm not Shay, no.
Well, I was reading about Shay. I wish I had a teacher like that.
Yeah.
He was very understanding, very, you know, very laid back, and I just loved his character.
It's possible to do that in a classroom, and I think there are more teachers doing it today, but there's still a lot more now. There are a lot is controlled, and a lot are not trained to teach. They're trained to administer classrooms. They're trained to do paperwork. They're trained to follow the rules. And they're not necessarily trained to make content interesting and to involve students in the learning process. Joanne was an excellent teacher, and the principal as well. The principals and teachers too often are not excellent.
But I got one complaint about her.
I'd love to hear it.
You were camera shy in my daughter's yearbook.
Was that the same comment, or was that a second? That's twice in 1 week I've heard that.
2 years in a row. I was camera shy 1 year, and I was, I got 1 year off for good behavior to work on a master's degree. So I missed the yearbook 2 years.
Yeah. So no, I'm not Shay. But I like Shay. I like what he does, and I would love to be able to do some of the things that Shay did, and that, but I didn't do those.
He was a good character.
Yeah.
So what's the next book about?
I don't know yet. I may never know.
You could put us.
We'll be in the book too.
We'll be in the
Be
book.
part of it.
How do you-
Murder at the
you
book
can't-
club
I can't
or
guarantee
something?
that you won't. Other things that I'm doing might suddenly get set aside. I'm running websites and things like that, like for Calumet Stewardship Initiative and for the community, as well as for the writing website, which doesn't take much running. Those things would begin to fall by the wayside, and I'm not sure that I'd be willing to do that.
But you could have a first draft by then.
Oh! You're giving her a weapon.
Yeah, Sherry, make a note, call
Yeah,
her,
it wouldn't be
make
a
a
bad
note.
idea to try to enter something like that. Yeah. I can't say that I will, but it's an interesting concept. And I know now that I've heard it repeated from not too far away that I'll hear it again. I know that I will be reminded of this more than once.
Well, you've both got deadlines now, right?
Yeah,
You
mine's
got
February
you got
2011.
okay.
Is that yours also?
If I have to do it, then you should do it too.
Okay, there, okay.
You know,
See who
just
gets it.
write. Don't go back and edit later. Just write it, just keep on
The
going.
editing is the thing. It really is. That's where you spend the time, but it's time well spent.
Did you do your own editing?
I do all the creative editing is the thing I'll do because I'm the one who decides whether it makes sense to me or not. But my second and finest editor is sitting behind the video camera right now. She is without a doubt the editor.
How much does your co-editor actually edit? And is it like?
Oh, you mean in the computer?
No, I'm talking about how your wife edits. I mean, does she like say, "Oh no, this is no good," or just minor changes, or do you give your
What will
like
happen
edit?
is
Just give her a red pen.
when I finish the book, usually I think I wait until isn't that right? Don't I wait until I finish the book before I dump it in?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
We established that early because you mentioned red pen.
Oh, yeah.
And when Kevin would write the articles for the newspaper, he'd say, well, would you edit it? And, for the school teacher stuff, I'm doing red pen. That didn't work out too well. I think Frank pointed out another thing that the book is lacking, and that is profanity.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's wonderful not to have to read all that.
Yeah.
Is it? it gets tiring to me anyway to see
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And it's not that I don't know how to use the language of that sort of language. I certainly, yeah, I can do it, but I don't want to do it.
Because you didn't need to do it.
That's exactly what you
Oh, wouldn't have fit at all. We're not a force. I don't think your characters would have allowed that. I mean, that didn't.
No,
like
that's
any of
probably part of it too. They just said, hey, what are you doing to
They
my
would
mom?
have, yeah, they never would have said that.